Part 25. If you've actually made it through all of these, you should probably earn a medal or something. Or you're just really bored. I don't know. But anyways, this is going to be the last part of this journal. And yeah, this is kind of what I've got, the last part. So part 25. So I sit here now almost 200 pages into this journal, and I don't know how many minutes or hours that translates into as far as these YouTube parts. But anyways, I'm almost 200 pages into this journal, and I had no idea that I would have so much to write on, but I'm glad I did. I look back on my younger years and how many of my discoveries about religion, church, and the Messiah started with just simple questions. It starts when you stop ignoring what is bothering you. It can also start when you decide that those stupid churchy answers just are not good enough anymore, and we need to be okay with being okay that sometimes answers just aren't good enough. There's got to be a better answer. Don't settle. But some have made an art out of the ability to ignore what is right in front of us. And unfortunately, so many of us don't know that we should be asking questions. We're so asleep, you know? Issues about tradition, religion, and most definitely the Messiah need to stand up to the scrutiny of questions. I mean, this is our faith. If something is true, it will not matter how many questions you ask. It will prove itself out over and over. It will show itself to be right. No twisting or contorting necessary. So if we're sure about our faith, why does it matter if you start to question it? Truth will be truth regardless of what you believe, and falsehood will still remain falsehood no matter how much we believe it to be true. And some say asking questions is a good thing, and some would rather just stay inside that box and never ask questions because asking questions gets us into trouble. I can't imagine a world where our Creator, Yehovah, would not want us asking questions. I do know, however, of a world where those too afraid to ask the questions themselves would rather us just stay peacefully and safely inside a little box, nicely wrapped and tucked in. Because when we start asking questions, walls start to fall down, theologies shake, and to some, this is a problem. It shakes the identity of those believing in something built on sand, and no human likes to have their identity rattled. I get it. However, if our identity has been put in a religious system, perhaps those walls need to start falling. Perhaps we do need an earthquake to wake us up. To those on their earthly thrones and theologies and degrees, yeah, this is a massive problem. If asking questions got me into trouble, then I'm sure glad to have gotten into trouble with men and not with our Creator. It's only when I look back do I realize just how much I've learned, and as much as I have investigated and discovered, I still realize that there will always be something more to learn. There will always be something Yehovah will need to teach me. There will always be something I'm probably still holding on to that I've dragged out of religion with me. And I want to shake those things off as quickly as I can. This is why I admire King David so much. Though he might not have been aware of his shortcomings in the moment, as soon as Yehovah showed him his ways, that was the moment he became broken over them and changed. He actually did something about them. And King David was not afraid to ask the questions. He was not afraid to have Yehovah show him where he was wrong. It takes a brave man to do such. It takes a leader. It takes a strong person to do that. King David was. For as long as I can remember, Jeremiah 33 verse 3 has always rattled around in my brain. It says, "Call to me and I will answer you. I will show you great unsearchable things you do not know." And how true that's been in my life. We must be willing to take that first step no matter how scary it seems. And I can truthfully say that in calling out to Yehovah that one day on my back porch watching the sun go down, He has definitely shown me great unsearchable things I did not know. If Columbus had never asked the questions about what was past the vast ocean's horizon, we would have never made bigger discoveries, and also something more. He would have also never realized the lies that had been believed for so long. It goes both ways. With discovery comes a knowledge of truth, but it also comes with a knowledge of long-held falsehoods. Yet, despite ridicule, Columbus loaded up those ships and he just went. He just freaking got on a boat and went. He dove right in to see what was right and what was wrong. I don't imagine at the end of his life Columbus had any regrets. I couldn't imagine ever going back into that box where questions cannot be asked in honesty and in truth. For some reason, men protect ideologies, even when they've been weighed and found wanting. It's time to start protecting truth and being okay with the fact that this might mean we have been wrong. Is that really going to kill us? When we have the bravery to step outside ourselves, that's when we find freedom. And I imagine Columbus hit many storms and incurred many hard days in the time he left the safety of shore. But the moment he made a monumental discovery, I bet you anything, those hardships and those days of difficulties just faded away. I bet they became something he laughed about in the days that followed. You know, what was at the end. In questioning my faith from the start, it has definitely been met with those who have some nasty things to say, especially when questioning Jesus. It did not get any better. And there have been difficulties along the way, but I can say that those pricks of annoyance have all but faded in comparison to how simple and easy Yehovah has made his ways for his people. Columbus might have looked back as he drifted past the horizon, but he never went back. I will never forget where I came from, but I continue to look ahead at where I'm going. I still don't assume I have discovered everything there is to be discovered along this path of truth, but it's a good thing. I'm still open to discovering whatever lies ahead, and I will probably always question things until the day I finally wear myself out enough to finally just give up and die. But I'm pretty stubborn, so that'll be a while. And lastly, I have heard some people say that they wish they could write a letter to their teenage self, and they would, give their teenage self some advice. If I could do the same, this is all it would say. Dear Emily, about 20 years has passed since I last thought about you. And with 20 years now on my shoulder, this gives me more insight to how you feel and what you're going through. I could write some elaborate poetic letter about life's lessons, or I don't know, whatever would sound good in the moment, or even tell you some things that you could do differently. But I feel like this would rob you of an amazing journey that is up ahead. So I'm only going to say one thing. Keep asking questions. Keep going. Don't be afraid to just load up that ship and just sail. Just freaking load up the boat and go. And in 20 years, you'll know what that means. But for now, just keep going. Never stop asking questions and always stay curious. I promise it will be worth it. Sincerely, the 20 years from now, Emily. The end.